I'm Kevin Harrington, creator of the as-seen on TV industry and one of the original sharks on ABC's hit TV show, Shark Tank. I've worked with hundreds of businesses and launched thousands of products over the years, working in every conceivable niche in the entrepreneurial world. What you may not know is that I'm also a real estate investor. And one of the keys to success in real estate is putting the right team of professionals around you. Today, I have the opportunity to sit down and talk with one of the top real estate pros in the country. We'll talk about what has separated them from their competition and launched them to the highest level of success. Check it out. Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, original shark from Shark Tank, and I'm here with Billy Alvaro, real estate investor from New York. I understand, Billy, you're one of the top investors up in the New York area. You live in Long Island, and I've got to ask you here, how did you get started in all this, right?
Yeah, good question. So I've always been out serving people. After high school, I joined the United States Air Force, came out with a honorable discharge, and from there I became a police officer. So it was always my calling to try to help people. But the police officer thing just wasn't for me, and I still wanted to serve. And accidentally, I got involved with real estate. And since 1999, I've been helping people all over Long Island, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx.
Yes. My father was in the Air Force, by the way. God bless. He had flew P-40s in the World War II. So,
is that right?
Thank you for service to all of us here. You know, so as you've transitioned from other activities, from the Air Force to police, now as an investor, you're known as sort of a really kind of a very educated investor, but you also a caring investor. So what does that mean? That you look out for the people that when you buy the property from them, or how does that work?
That's a good question. So we serve with the highest level of integrity, and when we're going to buy somebody's house, you know, we look to see how we're going to put them in the best position. So it's not always about trying to get it for the best price. It's about doing the best for the person who's selling the property.
Okay. Well, you know, because that's important, because if you're going to get the deal or be able to get their trust, they need to understand that you're also looking out for them, right?
Absolutely.
That's part of the process,
it's
right?
It's part of the process, yeah, most definitely. You know, when we go in, we don't look. We look to see what the situation is, how we could help them get out of the situation. Some people, sometimes the situation isn't that bad. They just need to move for whatever the reason is.
Right.
But there's other times they're really in a hard situation.
Yeah.
And we come in and we just deal with the highest level of integrity.
Right. So where is this all going for you as an investor? You know, is there a transition in the market, or what's happening right now with the real estate market from two sides? Number one, investors, and number two, homeowners or building owners.
Right, okay, so good question. So the homeowner side, the equity has seemed to increase over the last couple of years. As you know, back in 07, 08, when the market crashed, everybody lost their equity. Everybody was upside down. So now that they have a little bit of equity, it's easier for them to sell their property, but there's still instances where they can't sell it through a traditional realtor. They need to sell it through an investor like myself who buys for cash, because they might have a situation where they need to sell fast, they need to sell with stuff in the house. Maybe the house doesn't have a C of O, or it has an extension. So in that aspect, we're able to buy them quick for cash. But on the flip side, with investors, I'm seeing the market right now where they're looking for cash flow properties. So a lot of the investors we're dealing with, they don't want to go out and flip and turn. Some of them do, but a lot of them right now are looking for cash flow. So they're buying these properties, they're packing them in, they're buying them in their 401k, their IRA, and they're getting cash flow for long-term gains.
Right, right. So I think, you know, as an investor, you're kind of in a very pivotal point, because it's whoever has the money really has a lot of the options, right? So that's a good thing. It's a good place to be.
It's a good place to be,
right?
Yeah.
So tell me, is there anything new on the horizon, exciting, any kind of big new thing that you're up to?
Well, I mean, listen, the market's shifting constantly. The big market for us, the big thing that we're going into is the Hamptons. So in the Hampton market, we're not going into the super high end of the Hamptons, but we're starting to get into the middle tier market, the $1 to $5 million range.
That's a pretty stable market there,
It is
the
pretty
Hamptons,
stable,
right?
yeah. The Hamptons, you know,
the
money's out
beautiful,
there. It's a beautiful area. Yeah, so we're focusing on that, but we're hitting all over New York. We're hitting Suffolk County, Nassau County, the Brooklyn, the Bronx, and the Queens. We're trying to stay away away from Manhattan because, as you know, it's untouchable.
Right, right. So, I mean, I think this is very cool. So from the Air Force to police officer to real estate investor, you know, Billy, you're known as the investor with integrity. That's a great thing to have.
I appreciate that.
It's fantastic having you here today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks,
Okay,
Kevin. Appreciate
all right.
it.
Thank you for listening.